Okay, perfect. Here we are on the new Honda Transalp 750. Brand new model from Honda. Just started being delivered. We're in sport mode and we have 20 minutes and it's 18:02. Let's go. Okay, so I just did the Yamaha Tenere 700 world raid little test. So back to back, really important and really interesting. So wrong button. What did I do? Okay, so back to back. So we are much lower on this bike. It really feels like a 500X. So, you know, be warned, I'm gonna say that a lot in this test. Same concept as the Tenere 700 test. Okay, oh, the suspension, wow, okay. So, okay, the front brakes, very aggressive, very nice. It has a lot of bite. Rear brake, much more effective than the Tenere 700s. It's important to try that out, you know. Low down, let's abuse it, just like the Tenere. Okay, wow. Tok, 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 tok. I mean, this is obviously not the way you ride normally. So it really struggles. In 50 kilometers an hour, it can't do it. Yeah, it does have a nice pull. Not as much as the Tenere, I would say. Let me just go around here. We're going to do a little bit of the short highway, just like before. Let's try to torque a little bit. It's nice. It's nice. I would say that the Tenere pulls a little more, ever so slightly more. Where am I? I'm lost. That's not where I want to go. Yeah, it pulls a lot still. Not as much as the Tenere 700, but it does pull quite a bit. It does have much more power though. It has 92 horsepower. The Tenere 700 has 72. So the suspension is very firm compared to the Tenere world raid. So I'm gonna try to get some bumps here, what I usually avoid. Okay, very nice. I didn't really feel much. I can tell you right away that you could feel some vibrations in the bars. Even at low speeds, you do feel some vibrations. With the Tenere, you didn't have those. They're very mild. It's not really a problem, I'd say. And if you put some foamies here, it's probably going to be okay. It's going to dampen a little bit. Yeah, the suspension is very stiff. Clearly not designed for off-road. So here we have some different modes. You know, average average consumption 7.7. That's because everybody's pulling hard on it. And then mode. So apparently, okay, you press the mode button here, then it changes the mode, right? So rain is going to be very soft. I'm going to go back to sport. It does sound nice though. I'll let you hear it. Breaking my camera. Has a nice ring to it. Yeah, it does still have a lot of pull. And obviously because it's more powerful, you can really feel it. I would say you feel closer to the ground, both physically speaking because it's much less of a tall motorcycle, but also because the suspension is firm. You feel more connected to the road, but it's much less of a nice see, like potholes. I'm sorry guys, I'm doing this on purpose. I know it hurts to see a brand new bike on potholes, but I need to test it, and I can tell you right away, and it's kind of what I thought before trying the bike, but this confirms it. It's not for off-road, not with these suspensions. It's relatively firm, like I said 1,000 times already, and on road it does behave pretty well. Now see, it's very flickable as well. does feel a little lighter than the T7, I'd say, because it is actually lighter. Okay, yeah, very harsh suspension, but it is flickable, you see, and it dives less when I do this. And if I, so yeah, a bit of dive of course, but a bit less than a T7. But again, this makes sense given the way these bikes are done, right? This one is more for road and occasional, I don't know, gravel stuff or whatever. Where's that going? It's forbidden. So let's test the low speed maneuverability. Yeah, I had to put my foot down, but I'm not a boss at low speed maneuverability. Let's go on the left side again. So let's try the different riding modes, eh? Now we're here. So let's look at rain. Okay, so it still pulls quite a lot. This is rain mode, huh? It's supposed to be soft. And gravel mode has a lot of engine brake. Let's try that out. And it has an off-road ABS setting, so it's still active but less aggressive. Then you have the user mode, which you can configure the way you want, which I'm not going to go in details right now. And you have the fuel reserve that is blinking because I don't have that much juice. Why is it blinking? Sports. Yeah, the vibrations in the bar is a little weird. I mean, on the 500X I don't have that at similar revs. Yeah, the brakes are really effective. Even the rear brake stops you like in a second. Yeah, it pulls quite a lot. But okay, it pulls less than the T7, but it has maybe, like, it pulls for longer, I'd say, and that's where the power comes in, right? Less torque at low end, but it pulls for longer, so that's also quite nice. Now, of course, no cruise control. See, it should be here. Cruise control, where are you, cruise control? Honda, what did you do with this? It's a road bike that can occasionally go off-road, which is what the Transalp always was and always will be. And the thing is, back then the CB500X didn't exist, when, like, in the 80s, when it started existing, this Transalp. But now that the 500X exists, I could tell you that this bike, it feels like a refined version of the 500X. Although I would say, weirdly, I mean, it's much stiffer and it doesn't really feel like it would be good off-road, to be honest. So here, little low speed test, second gear, 20 kilometers an hour. Standing, it's fine. Yeah, it's a pleasure to ride on the road, I'm gonna say. So yeah, 70 kilometers an hour, fifth gear, very nice, 3000 RPM. It runs smoothly. You don't feel too much vibration, I'd say. In terms of the wind, so the wind, it goes above my helmet, like way above my helmet. It's much better than the 500X in that regard, with the stock screen in the stock position. I don't think you can even change the height of the screen, but it runs, yeah, it runs over your helmet, and that's very nice. Otherwise, yeah, flickable. I mean, what else can we say about it? It's a pleasure to ride. It's a pleasure to ride. It really is. Think about it as an extension of 500X, right? It's the 500X Pro Plus, right? You just like have this little bit extra everywhere, right? You have a nicer screen, more information on the screen. You have some riding modes. You have no traction control. You should have traction control. You know, I care a lot more about not traction control, sorry. You have no cruise control. Cruise control. You do have traction control, right? This is the T. You do have the traction control, which honestly I don't really care about, to be honest. I think you could do fine without it. I come from enduro, so no traction control, no nothing on those bikes, and the traction control is it's your wrist. Don't flick your wrist like a moron all the time, especially if you're leaning and if you have some water, right? Don't do that. Now, if you have a tendency to do that, then having some traction control is going to be very nice, and it's going to save you from time to time, which is a good thing. So yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it feels worse for the suspension. In terms of off-road ability, it feels worse than the 500X. But on road, I guess it feels a bit more nimble and precise, you know? I can put the bike exactly where I want. Also, you know, like the power is very nice, it's smooth. Minus the minor vibrations in the handlebar, it's smooth, right? And you're sat in the bike. The T7 World Rage, we're sitting a little higher above, but not completely above. I've read some reviews and seen some reviews where people were saying that in the T7 you were sitting completely on top of the bike, just like an enduro. I'm not really finding that with the World Raid, and here, of course, in 500X fashion, it's not at all what you think. It's not at all what you feel, at least, I would say. I should try to find a little off-road patch. Oh, a little off-road, you know, it's like 10 meters, but better than nothing. Should we pass the bus? Yep, it's clear. We can do a highway test. We have some time for that. If I can find a goddamn entrance. Okay, here. Alright, so to the right. So imagine, you know, you could filter through traffic relatively well. I mean, for commuting, this bike is perfect. It's like the 500X on steroids, you know? Yeah, you really want to flick the wrist, yeah, especially in sport mode. You really want to flick it, you know? Like, it just asks for it, you know? Of course, I haven't ridden the KTM. Maybe on the KTM it's even worse. But how could you keep your license with such a bike? You always want to ride super fast. Yeah, best position behind the fucking truck. I can't really go faster than this because then there's the radar. Right, limited to 90, although it's a facing radar, so I technically can just go faster, but I won't. So here I would say, highway speeds. I do have buffeting, but it's not from the screen, it's from the vehicle in front of me. Let me just try to change lanes. Okay, it's much cleaner. Go there. Yeah, so it's a very relaxing 3000 RPM in 6th gear. It might actually be even too low, I'd say. No, it's the right speed. It feels a little too high when you're going in 5th gear. It's nice. I mean, imagine you have cruise control. I know it's the recurring gag here, but imagine you have cruise control. Well, you would use it and it would cruise. So the seats, now I'm cruising, I can tell you. So like on the passenger, it's a bit hard. It's not the best. The 500X's seat is not the best either, but I feel that it would be slightly more cushiony, if that's a word. I'm inventing a lot of words in this review. It has more cushion, right? It is therefore more cushiony. And the main seat, it's a bit hard, I'd say. It's harder than my 500X for sure. And I have the default seat, like OEM seat. Yeah, it's a bit hard. I would say if you want to go like super far away with this bike, which you probably won't because it feels great on the road, you're going to want to change the seat. On the Tenere 700 World Raid, I know, I'm sorry, like I keep talking about another bike in this review, but like you have to take a look at those two reviews at the same time, because for me it's the same day. I tested the other bike half an hour ago. It's really back to back, so to me, like, I'm testing both bikes at the same time, which is great because back to back you can really feel the difference. So in terms of flickability, again, it's very flickable, but it feels a bit more stable because it's lower down to the ground and it doesn't compress as much in terms of the suspension, because it has less travel and because it is stiffer, because it is not designed for off-road. Now you do have the 21-inch front wheel, but it's tubed and not tubeless, which is kind of a miss on Honda's part, I would say, because typically when you want to go long miles, you're gonna want to, so I have to go super slow because I can really feel the difference with the World Raid. So here you could feel every little bump. I'm gonna stop here to show you what it looks like from outside. You can really feel every little bump, and it's really not that bumpy, you know. This is not a bumpy part. There are no rocks, no nothing, just like small patches of grass. So here's the bike. Let's just walk around quickly. I think it looks pretty good. You know, at first when I saw the first designs, I was like, nah, I was expecting more of a smaller Africa Twin, but honestly, the more I look at it, the better it looks. I do like the little peaks here, the little Alps. That's exactly what it looks like, guys. And 750 here, the Transalp logo. I think this is one of the better liveries. You have the three ones. You have the white one, you have the gray one, which apparently in real life is pretty good. I haven't seen it in real life, but people say that it's better. But the front, there's something weird about the front. I don't know if you agree with me, because this is the optical block of the 500X, because it was cheaper to reuse that, but I think that it's way too small for the width of the bike, and it would look better with two, you know, two round things, just like the Africa Twin. It would look more mean, you know. So yeah, tube tires, like I said, zero protection by default. So if you're going off-road, you're gonna fling everything into the oil filter and the collector. Underneath you have, I would say it's about the same as the 500X in terms of ground clearance, you know. Exhaust looks the same, so maybe it is exactly the same. Monoshock, you can adjust the preload somehow with a tool. You don't have like a knob. And if you're going to take passengers with you a lot, it would be good to be able to do this on the fly, you know. Go pick up some friend and then you just tighten the thing, sits on it, everything's fine, you know. Otherwise, it's a relatively slim bike, and it really feels like a 500X. Like, really, like, you have the same components for like a lot of it. It's just on steroids, you know. So now I'm going to show you what it looks like when we are sitting on it, when I am sitting on it. Okay, hope that it's in the frame. Yeah, perfect. All right, so you can tell compared to the other bike, it's much lower, right? 175 centimeters, that's my height, and I can easily flat foot the bike on both sides. Don't know if you can see my right foot. I could just really dance on it, no problem, right? And if I'm standing, it's actually all right. Better than the 500X, actually. The 500X, I would want a little bit of bar risers. Maybe I should install bar risers, because you feel like a little bit cramped and like hunched over. But here it's kind of good for my height. I don't think it really needs anything. But then the suspension is the problem. So let's try to go up that little slope over there and see how it handles compared to the Tenere. Already knowing what the result is going to be, but I also want to know what it feels like compared to the 500X, because that's the bike I have, that's the bike I know. But you know, overall my impression is that it's very good. I just find it a shame that, oh, it sounds very nice. Exhaust is very nice. Much better than the 500X. Like, it sounds deeper, more powerful, more raw. It's a very satisfying grunt to it, you know. I was gonna say, compared to the 500X, it really feels like a more refined version of the 500X. Overall, I really like this bike. It's just not meant for off-road. I mean, here, you know, it's fine because, well, of course, it's very easy off-road, if you can call that off-road at all. So can I? Yes, I can turn around. Let's try this first. I'm in sport mode, you know, and the thing kind of blinked because it was like getting crazy. Maybe I should change the mode to gravel. Let's try to do this in second gear. So to do this kind of stuff, honestly, it's okay, it's enough, but I'm going 20 kilometers an hour. If I was trying to go a little faster, the Tenere would really shine compared to this bike, because again, it's designed for that. But if you're gonna do this, okay, so here the traction control really intervened and really prevented the wheel from slipping, which is the whole point of traction control. So does provide more control. I mean, obviously that's the point, compared to the Tenere just before, I just flicked it on purpose. Obviously I flicked it on purpose and it did start sliding, but you know, it was expected, so it wasn't really a problem for me. But I would say, yeah, if you're a beginner rider, you probably are gonna like the riding modes, because it does protect you, right? It does protect you from your own mistakes or your own stupidity, where when you don't have the riding modes, yeah, you're just, yeah, you have to be on the safe side, right? You have to do the traction control, you have to do, well, not the ABS, but you know. Well, let's try to go around this roundabout, low speed. Yeah, I mean, no problem. This is where I go out. Man, this thing is so complicated. Like, I lose where the indicator is. It's really odd. Okay, so it doesn't go as fast. It doesn't accelerate as fast, but it accelerates for longer. And as you could see, when you brake hard, it just activates the warning lights to warn the others that you are indeed braking hard. So I'm gonna have to go back to the dealership. Where is it? Oh, it's there. Here's the dealership. So overall, really quickly, very good bike. Think 500X, but better in every single way, I'd say, except maybe off-roadability. But then if you really want to do off-road with this bike, you could probably change the suspension. You're going to cost an additional $1,000 or $2,000, but then you're going to have a very good bike. Now, you know, think about the fact that if you want to add $2,000 to this bike is already sold at I think it is 1,100 ish, 11,000. So 11,000 plus 2,000, you know, it's 13,000 ish, and then, you know, for 14,500 you're gonna have the Africa Twin. So think about it. It's heavier, but it's already good off-road. Here we have an Africa Twin Adventure Sports with DCT in front of us. So yeah, that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video, and leave a comment below to tell me what you think about it. Would you ride it? Would you buy it? What do you think about it? I think it's very nice. If I didn't have the 500X already, I probably would have purchased that bike to begin with. So, you know, that's how much I like the bike. Pretty good. Every aspect of it is good, minus the cruise control. Really wish it had a cruise control, even as an option. I would have bought it, honestly. 200, 300 bucks just for cruise control, I would get it, definitely. So yeah, there we go. Have a good one, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.